Hi! I have to say I'm very proud of myself for that intro. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was very long, but I do think it was worth it for that severe aesthetic. That moment when the rain clouds cover the sunset and it gets really dark and the rain gets heavier, and yeah, that's just really something. Okay, enough of that. First of all, or I guess second of all, after me praising myself, I've got a new patron, and they have subbed under the name of Matt. So welcome to the family if you're watching. This is my first I keep saying cottage living. It's country living. This is my first country living set, and I'm thinking you've guessed it from the name and the intro and what you've seen on the screen so far, that this is not actually in the new world of Hanford and Bagley, but instead in Mount Komorebi. So I've chosen to do another Japanese build. I've actually wanted to build a Japanese farm back when Mount Komorebi was the new world. And when I saw the items, I thought that might be just the thing that would put a little twist on my first country living video, because as I've said in my latest speed build, I'm sure you're very satiated with Hanford and Bagley British builds. Don't worry, I'm definitely gonna do some of those as well. I've checked out the new world. It's beautiful. It's exactly what I hoped it would be, and I'm very happy about it. But yeah, so this is the first video I've chosen to do with the new items and the new features, and I've done my research beforehand, and I've tried to do everything as correctly as possible. There was a lot of Googling involved, but yeah, please forgive me if something still doesn't feel quite right or I've missed something, and feel free to tell me if there's anything you know about these traditional Japanese farmhouses. I'd love to know more than I've had the time to do research for. So originally I wanted to build rice terraces, which is what I'm kind of imitating right here, which is where I'm gonna put those new vegetable farming things, those patches that I'm placing right now. So I saw this inspiration picture of a house that looked very similar to the one that I've built, in front of this rice field, and it was so gorgeous, and it was raining when the picture was taken, and it was so moody and beautiful. So that's why I chose to do a rice field instead. And then I also really liked this, I'm gonna call it a feature, that I saw in another picture, which is this a bridge, I guess, a bridge of land that leads through the rice fields so you can cross them, and it looks very natural. I think it doesn't right now in my build, but I'm fixing that with the terrain smoothing tool a little later. I really had to just kind of get the setup down. I was very confused. I've cut out a lot of this process because I was very confused on how to build this and how to set this up and how to arrange things so that they would make sense on a farm, and you wouldn't have to walk incredible distances all the time. So I'm kind of placing everything so I know where it's supposed to be, and then I'm making things pretty along the way a little later on. So that's why it looks a little weird. Oh yeah, that's why I'm doing it. So that's why I've decided to go for a rice field, and it's all very bumpy right now. Kind of had to get used. I think the pawn tool was surprisingly easy to use, and I think it also looks really pretty, and I really like that your Sims can walk through it. This is also a part that I've cut out. I was searching for something that looked like proper rice that is being grown on some water submerged fields, and I couldn't find anything. I was literally looking through every single plant in the debug catalog for this, and this was the only plant that kind of looked right, but obviously this one grows all over the place, and the rice is grown in very proper straight lines, so I couldn't really recreate this, but I thought it still looked cute, and I guess it's just a little wild, this rice field. So Kominka is the term for these types of traditional houses. I think it literally means old house. As I said, please correct me if I'm talking shit over here. But they are incredibly beautiful. I kind of couldn't stop doing research on them because I stumbled upon all these insanely beautiful pictures, and they're really, really cool, and they're built using the traditional methods. They can be up to 300 years old, and that's where they often use those techniques where they use no nails at all in like the building of the whole house, which is so insane to me. I think it's so that the wood pieces kind of fit together like a puzzle, I guess, so that you don't have to use nails, which is insane. But yeah, if you were wondering what I was doing there with the Felixandra roof pieces, that was to make those cow stables, animal sheds, whatever, look a little more Japanese. They have a very European feel to them, and those cockadoodles on the top are also very bothering to me, and they're gonna have to bother you for a few more minutes. I cover them up later. They do just look so European, so Northern European, I want to say. But yeah, I cover those up, and I'm not sure the roofing around the side makes sense, but I just had to find a way to make it look a little more Japanese. I'm also covering up the lamps on the side later with those paper lanterns that Felix made. Also, I'm using those all over, and especially on the inside. And I read somewhere in my research that that's usually not how they're used. I think they're for like celebrations, festivities, and I kind of use them as your usual lighting on the inside, which, yeah, I guess doesn't make a lot of sense. But I don't think there's very pretty lamps that came with Scenario Escape. There's those wall lamps that are kind of pretty. I don't like the ceiling lamp, and Felix has made those very, very cute shrimp lamps, but they really did not fit the vibe of this place. I've tried, and I think I've put one in the very end, in the only place where it looked kind of acceptable, but they're not usable in this place as like your standard lamp for every room. So I've used the paper bag lamps a lot, and I'm sorry about that, but I've read during my research a lot of articles that described how there's a problem with Kominkas kind of going extinct, and because they're very, very hard to maintain. I think those thatched roofs you have to completely redo every 20 to 30 years or something, which is incredible. But everything is very sturdy, and it's all made from natural materials, so it's like great in itself, but you do have to invest some money to live in a place like this. And a lot of people obviously won't or aren't able to do that. So they're kind of trying to restore a lot of them, and like there's more and more restaurants and hotels and that sort of thing, because obviously they do appeal to tourists, and that's why I thought that maybe this place was rentable as well. So I thought this could be kind of like an agro-tourism thing. I've done that myself and I've absolutely loved it. So I thought that this place might, well, like people who live there or live on this farm, maybe rent out this place for, I don't know, 4 weeks, a year or something, to tourists. So that's my explanation for why something might not be exactly right. Also, that cute little shed that you just saw me build that has this beautiful lookout over the rice field, it's actually not usable because, as I like to do, I forgot that we can't place diagonal stairs, which still sucks. So yeah, I've put those fake stairs there, which are a debug item from Snowy Escape. So you could teleport your Sims in there if you wanted to like take screenshots or whatever, but there's also a proper living room inside, so I thought you wouldn't need it really, and it's fine, and it still looks cute, especially at night when those paper lanterns on the water, they are also a debug item, but they do glow at night and it looks very pretty. I'm not sure if I've ever finished that sentence about Kominkas that I started. I didn't even start it. Doing voiceovers is really hard. Somehow I have a lot of trouble discerning between things I've actually said and things I was thinking about saying. Okay, so I'm just gonna try. I think I wanted to explain that Kominkas look very different depending on the region they're in, because obviously the climate and the geography and the purpose of the place changes the design. So I was trying to find something that would make sense for Montgomery. I hope it does, because obviously when there's heavy snowfall in the winter, the roof would have to look different because it would have to withstand all that heavy weight from the snow. We can't make roofs thicker in The Sims, but just something I've tried to keep in mind and think about during building. And I have used a lot of debug items and a lot of Felix Andres Kyoto items. They fit in there very well. I think they've done a great job of making this place look as charming and traditional and lived in and kind of like used as I think a farm should look, and as pretty as all the photos I've seen of the actual Kominkas. So I hope you feel the same way. And I've also made sure to use natural materials throughout. Everything's wood basically. You will notice in the interior that there's a million different types of wood, which is not exactly right because I have read somewhere, which also just makes a lot of sense, that the craftsmen who built these Kominkas used very specific woods for different purposes. I think it was also quite common, or at least it happened, that people used to use like specific conditions and woods to make silkworms settle on like in the ceilings or in the roofs or something, and then they made silk of that, and it's all so incredibly cool and so very in touch with nature. So I've just kind of tried to make it look coherent, kind of coherent with what The Sims offers us regarding wood tones. So those won't make a lot of sense. Luckily, I have no clue how to discern wood. I mean, I can see the color and I can see like the grain and the pattern, but I wouldn't know what it is. So I cannot be bothered by it, which is a good thing in this case. While we're in the kitchen, I have actually managed to do the impossible for this build and forgot to not only put in a fridge, as I like to do, forgetting, I mean, but also forgetting to put in a sink, which is a new high score, at least for me personally, regarding things that I forget to put in a kitchen. But I've put in a toilet, which is something I'm very proud of. I managed to do it. Oh, you can see me trying to fit in that shrimp lamp, but didn't work. But it's gonna come back. It's gonna make an appearance again. So I forgot to put all that in, and I actually did not notice. I'd actually already exported the build and still not noticed. And then, because that's also a very smart thing to do, I decided to playtest after I'd already exported it. And then I realized, only after my sim was like, what the hell do you want me to, like, bake something? I have nothing to bake with. Because there's literally no fridge. Only then have I noticed that it was missing every essential kitchen piece except for the stuff. So I've put those in, and that everything works now, which is pretty cool. For other people, it might be standard. For me, it's very impressive. So I've actually done kind of a cool trick with the fridge, I think. Do you see under the stairs? There are those like stair cabinetry, stair closet, this kind of situation. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous object by Felixandra, which I really have to remember is there and also use in my non-Japanese builds. But I've kind of put the fridge on the back side of those, so it looks like just another door in there, as if like this whole area under the fridge was under the stairs was the pantry or the fridge kind of area. And I think it's really cool, and it also works. I've used the new wooden, I think it's probably not a fridge, right? It's probably supposed to be like a pantry, but it works like a fridge that came with Country Living. And that's kind of a cool thing, but also telling you, because maybe you won't find the fridge because it's really well hidden. Also, what's up with the curtains? Why do they always have to cover the whole window? I always want the window to be visible. I need curtains that are at least half up, or at least half away from the window, because I like light and I want it to come into my builds, but then I also want it to look as if you could close the curtains temporarily in case you want to take a bath, for example, and someone's tending to the garden patches outside and you don't want them to see you naked. So that's something I would really enjoy if we would get more of those. Oh, before I forget, I've had to do kind of a weird little trick. Because I desperately wanted there to be smoke, to be coming out of the chimneys for the intro and the video tour shots and the screenshots as well. I don't really know why. It was really important to me. Actually, I do know why. I just wanted this place to feel like this area of warmth and coziness and comfort and like a home, and I think smoke coming out of a chimney really does a lot for that. Oh, another try of putting the shrimp lamp in, not succeeding yet. So there was no smoke coming out because the hearth, okay, I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, just warning you. The irori, which is this traditional hearth, which is usually sunken, but Felixandra has built it in this way. which is gorgeous, but it's not actually classified as the type of fireplace that makes smoke come out of chimneys. So what I've done when I finally figured it out is I've built a basement and I have put a fireplace from base game in there, and then I've teleported my sim there and I've made her light it, and then I came back out. I don't know if it actually has to be lit for the smoke to come out of the chimney. I don't think it does, but if it does, then that's the trick. The hearth is actually supposed to be in the middle of the living space, and it's where everyone would gather and sometimes cook, and it would provide warm water, and it would actually heat the entire living space, the entire house. I wasn't really too sure how to do it, and if this was supposed to be something that was still so much in use that it would be in like the actual main living space. And then also I was kind of thinking that this was a renovated barn with a farmhouse, which is why the bed is on that top mezzanine type of level. So I hope everything makes sense the way it is. And this is the final appearance of the shrimp lamp. It worked. I got it in here. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for liking and subscribing. As always, I'm so grateful you're here, and bye bye.